Today we begin a new series called Advent Unpacked. It looks at Advent, what it is, how it differs from Christmas, why we observe it. And I guess the other question is it in the Bible? So what I want to do today is just give you a broad overview, and then we'll be diving down into this in the days ahead. And that starts with the church calendar. So you need to understand that there is a calendar that was established during the Middle Ages. It sort of seeks to have Christ followers go through the entire life of Christ every year. So in their reading and in the sermons that are preached and in sort of all the seasons that are being recognized in the church, the calendar is going to make sure that these things get compressed. So Advent is when the year actually starts. So Happy New Year. Advent starts in December. It starts 4 Sundays, the 4 Sundays before Christmas. And that's the beginning of the year. And so you've taken the entire life of Christ, his life, his teachings, his death, his resurrection, his ascension. You take all of that and it gets compressed down into 12 months. And so the period of Mary's pregnancy gets condensed down into 1 month, which I understand some women would be particularly excited if they could have a 9-month pregnancy in just 4 weeks. But the point is, the bigger point is that Advent is this time of waiting. It's waiting. Adventus is the Latin term, and it's waiting for the arrival of something, and oftentimes waiting for the arrival of someone who is important. A second thing you need to understand about Advent, in addition to it being a time of waiting, and it's this month-long period, the start of the church calendar, it is a dark time, which means we get it almost exactly backwards. For us, the Christmas season, and to be clear, Advent and Christmas are not the same thing. But for us, the Christmas season, so, starting right after Thanksgiving, and going all the way to Christmas, it's a time that's frenetic. It's shopping, it's office parties, it's Starbucks peppermint lattes, it's run. It's all these activities, and then on Christmas you sort of collapse. So that's exactly backwards. If you're singing Advent songs, as opposed to Christmas songs, as opposed to Joy to the World and Hark the Herald Angels Sang, and the songs that we associate with Christmas, if you're singing Advent songs, they're dark, they're slow, they're in a minor key. They reflect a period of you're trying to collapse the 1,000 years the Jews have been waiting for the Messiah. You're trying to capture some of the angst they have living under Roman oppression in the Roman Empire. You're trying to just capture the sort of the darkness that has been felt, because for 400 years they haven't had a prophet that has been speaking to them through that whole intertestamental period. And so Advent is designed to have us capture some of that, to sort of look back and understand that season of waiting, but also to have a season of waiting ourselves for the second arrival of Jesus, the one who came as a baby, coming again in power. So you want to capture some of that early darkness, the scandal of Mary's pregnancy, the embarrassment of Joseph that this woman that he's been engaged to is now turns up pregnant. So Advent is dark. The passage that comes to mind comes out of Isaiah 9, and there's a sense in which this is a season of darkness. Another thing to understand about Advent is that it is to be a time of hope. Now, to be clear, I'm not talking about a time of wishful thinking. I hope that we have a white Christmas, or I hope that the Bears win the Super Bowl, or I hope whatever I hope. It's not wishful thinking. It's also not to be confused with optimism. We can be optimistic that the trend lines we're looking at suggests something good is going to happen. Hope, biblical hope, right? We see in 1 Corinthians 13, right? Faith, hope, and love. The biblical definition of hope is much closer to trust and confidence in God's promises. So to be hopeful is something that is expected of a Christ follower. In 1 Peter chapter 3, we read that we are to be ready to offer an answer, an apology, a defense of the hope that is within us. Because all Christians are to be people of hope. Despair is sort of a luxury, but it's also a little bit of a sin. We can't be despairing. We are to be hopeful. We're to be about the mission that we're to be about. So Advent is this 4-week period at the beginning of the church calendar, which starts sort of around December 1st. Again, it depends. It's a church calendar. You got all the confusion about Easter, so there's not a certain date that it starts. You got to back up 4 Sundays before Christmas. So that is the season of waiting. It's a season of darkness. It's the season in which we are marching through, trying to capture some of the first century angst about waiting for a Messiah, the darkness of the intertestamental period, the scandal of Mary's pregnancy, all of that, trying to capture some of that. But at the same time that it's dark, it's to be a period of hope. So we are going to be reflecting on Advent between now and Christmas, which is when you're supposed to be happy for the 12 days of Christmas. Thus the song. Have a good day.